Hello, I'm Britt Zort.
And I'm Dayton Abbott.
Welcome to MRU TV News.
Two small planes collided over a shopping mall in Quebec this afternoon. The mid-air collision occurred over the Promenade Saint-Bruno shopping centre, south of Montreal, shortly after 1 p.m. Quebec's public security minister says one person is dead and 3 others are injured. Police say one plane landed on the roof and the other in the parking lot. Each only had a pilot on board and that both were injured. Witnesses described hearing a loud bang. The shopping centre has since been evacuated.
The province of Alberta is going another $10.3 billion in debt this year. That was the bottom line that came from the new budget released by Finance Minister Joe Ceci on Thursday. The debt increases, but so does an improvement in a wide range of services, like schools and healthcare. Carly Cooper has been covering the budget for us and joins us now. Carly, what can you tell us about this budget?
Yes, Britt, the budget 2017 was released yesterday, and first I want to take a look at the numbers that really affect us students here at MRU as well as other post-secondary institutions around the province. The government is extending the freeze on post-secondary tuition increases for a third year, meaning students will not need to pay more for their courses in the coming year. The province is going to give post-secondary institutions a 2% increase in the grants they get to operate. The 2017 budget is also looking to help grade school students and their parents. The province will build 5 new schools here in Calgary, 4 in Edmonton, and 1 will be created for a 5th school in Edmonton as well. They will also upgrade or replace another 16 schools. For patients and seniors, there is hope as well. The province is budgeting to build a brand new hospital in Edmonton and build a new continuing care unit in Calgary. Joe Ceci also announced that the province will focus on building more affordable housing in Calgary and Banff. He says that Albertans need a basic level of security in their lives and security knowing that they have a roof over their heads. With the environment, the province wants to reinvest the $5.4 billion that it's collecting from the carbon tax into things like rapid transit projects and energy-efficient light bulbs. The $10.3 billion deficit is going to contribute to what the province believes will be a $71 billion debt by the end of the decade. One thing as well that was noticeably absent in the discussion of the budget was the talk of funding for the Green Line extension of the LRT, which is unfortunate for us MRU students as people will have to inconveniently commute back and forth to Mount Royal, and we are the only university without a train station here, so people down in the south as well as people commuting anywhere across the city from Mount Royal. It's really unfortunate for that, and I know we were all rooting for that. Back to you guys at the desk.
Alberta's Progressive Conservative leader Rick McIver believes the new budget is the largest intergenerational transfer of wealth in the province's history. McIver says the NDP government is selfishly spending money for political gain, which will lead to leaving debt for future generations to cover. After this weekend, McIver will no longer be the party's leader. At the TELUS Convention Centre, Alberta's Progressive Conservatives are gathering to pick a new leader this weekend. Opening ceremonies begin at 5 p.m. Jason Kenney, Brian Nelson, and Richard Stark are the candidates running. One of the big issues is whether or not the PCs and Wild Rose should join forces to create a single Conservative party in Alberta. Results of the election will be announced tomorrow, anytime between 4:30 and 5 o'clock.
Calgary police are still investigating hate graffiti found last night at an off-leash park in Ranchlands community. A resident found hate graffiti sprayed in several areas inside the park. The hate messages were directed to the Muslim and Jewish communities. A resident from Ranchlands who frequently walks his dog at the park says anti-Muslim rhetoric is nothing new and has been going on for quite some time.
Graffiti happens from time to time, and it's never good to see, but I think it represents the opinion of a small number of people. I don't think you want to go too far or, have too much of a big reaction over,
37-year-old Daniel Boria is set to be sentenced today. Boria was the man who strapped balloons to a lawn chair and floated over the Calgary Stampede in July of 2015. He floated into Calgary airspace as part of a publicity stunt for his cleaning company. He pleaded guilty to dangerous operation of an aircraft. As part of the sentence, he has been ordered to pay a $5,000 fine and make a $20,000 donation to charity. The balance is due before he can be sentenced.
Robin Wortman, who had been charged with sexually assaulting a 17-year-old boy, has been released on bail. He is also charged for assault with a weapon and 2 counts of communication to procure sexual services from someone under 18. Wortman also faces multiple conditions for these charges, including not contacting anyone under the age of 18, surrendering his passport, and restricted internet access. Before the charge, he was a board director with the Calgary Homeless Foundation. He was suspended from the board after the charges were laid.
The Festival of Animated Objects continues this weekend around the city. The event, which runs till Sunday, shows off artists' work with puppets in a variety of ways. Riley Pollock has the story.
Tonight's Festival of Animated Objects main event is the Dolly Wiggler Cabaret. Christine Cook is the co-artistic director for the festival.
The Dolly Wiggler Cabaret is a really wonderful collection of short-form work for adults, and it's here at the Legion, so you can have a drink at your table while you're watching the show on this gorgeous little cabaret stage. And it's really a chance to see all the artists in the festival. That we invite all the artists to perform in the cabaret, and they perform work that they're not performing elsewhere in the festival.
Besides the cabaret, the Festival of Animated Objects provides a variety of different puppet-related themes.
So it encompasses live performances as well as puppets on film and animated objects on film, so like stop motion animation, as well as there's an exhibition and workshops and lectures.
The festival runs every 2 years. This is the 8th edition. Prairie Puppet Underground has made the trip from Regina to perform at the event, and they brought some friends.
Barnum and Bailey, back at the turn of the last century, created some kind of creature that was a monkey's torso, mummified monkey's torso, attached to a mummified fish's tail, and they pitched it as a "what is it?" in the sideshow, the Barnum and Bailey sideshow, and they said that a Fijian mermaid had been pulled out of the water by a fisherman near Fiji.
The Dolly Wiggler Cabaret starts tonight at 8:30 at Branch 1 at the Royal Canadian Legion. For MRU TV News, I'm Riley Pollock.
Britt, we've been having some hot weather of late. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot better than last week. John Luke, how's it looking out there?
Well, thanks, guys. As you can see behind me, it's 2 degrees right now, and that's actually 30 degrees about warmer than it was last week. It's partly cloudy right now, and it's looking a lot like that for the rest of the week. The winds are coming in at 12 kilometers per hour from the south. That's all I got right now, but stay tuned for more.
Coming up after this break, the annual Calgary Truck and Auto Show showcases an environmental approach to cleaner cars.
And one of Canada's biggest conductors is here in Calgary, and you wouldn't know it. This story and more after the break.
Counseling services at Mount Royal University for students in time of stress. Missing home? Trouble in relationships? Can't focus on your studies? Student counseling is there to get you healthy and on track. Book appointments online. Get the help that you need. Contact the Crisis Intervention at any hour through the Distress Center on the Student Counseling website. Need help? Seek student counseling.
Being a student can be stressful. If you're feeling overwhelmed, Mount Royal Recreation offers a variety of classes. Yoga Flow is an amazing way to unwind and de-stress. You can easily sign up online under the Recreation homepage under Fitness Classes. Take some time for yourself. Mount Royal Recreation.
The Calgary Truck and Auto Show rolled into the BMO Centre on Wednesday.
And this year's show is focusing on a greener planet for all. Zenon Andreo has the story.
You just gotta gun it.
From vehicles that downshift themselves using satellites to vehicles that apply brakes themselves, the future is fully on display at the Calgary Truck and Auto Show this weekend. However, one unifying theme from all automotive companies in attendance is improving fuel efficiency, namely making smaller engines and going electric. Zach, a local mechanic, sees the innovations companies are making as huge steps in cutting emissions and saving fuel costs.
Ford's coming out with new motors such as the 1.3 liter 3-cylinder C-Max engine and the fuel economy is just completely uncomparable to anything around. Even the new Ford Raptor, a performance truck, is now went from a 6.2 liter V8 down to a 3.5 liter twin turbo EcoBoost. It's supposed to save the environment more. Cars are now, when you pull up to a stoplight and you fully stop the vehicle, the motor will actually shut off. And when you start going again, it'll actually turn on just to save fuel.
Even with ride-sharing, economic concerns, and environmental concerns looming over the future of the automotive industry, Zach doesn't see anything changing in consumer spending habits.
Companies are getting more innovative. They're providing more and more hybrid vehicles for everybody. The gas motor is getting depleted. Engines are getting smaller and fuel economy is getting better. Really, the car spectrum hasn't changed. People are still buying cars. No one's ever going to stop buying cars. It just changes how we do things.
With vehicles moving to smaller engines, electric engines, and hydrogen cell engines, we're moving towards a greener future and a future without gasoline. For MRU TV News, Zenon Andreo.
Some new rules are coming into place for recreational drone users. It was announced yesterday that the federal government will put into place stricter measures for those who fly a drone too close to an airport or plane. The idea behind the new law is to eliminate the number of incidents involving recreational drones and planes. That number has more than tripled since 2014. Drones will no longer be able to fly higher than 90 meters, within 75 meters of any buildings, vehicles, or people, or within 9 kilometers of any airport. Drone operators must now mark their drones with their name, address, and phone number. The new rules don't apply to commercial, academic, or research use. Anyone violating the new laws could receive a fine of up to $3,000.
Making a name for yourself in the music business can be hard, but for Rolf Birch, he has done more than just that by becoming one of Canada's biggest conductors and one of Mount Royal's Conservatory's best piano teachers. Micah Quinton has the story.
Confident and passionate. Those are two of many words that you could use to describe Rolf Birch. He's been conducting for the Calgary Civic Symphony since 2008 and has his own unique way of making sure that he gets the best results out of his shows.
During the week between rehearsals, at some point I sit down with my scores and I think a little bit about what we've done, where I'd like to get, where are the problem areas. I identify them on a personal list of what I want to get to in a given rehearsal. And that's sort of the overall process.
Rolf is also the coordinator for the Piano Academy at the Mount Royal Conservatory.
I'm very happy to now do a lot of teaching. Sometimes it's a bit much, perhaps, but it's something that I love and it's something that I learn from every day.
Rolf has a certain process when it comes to teaching piano.
So I'll often ask, for instance, where are you going in this phrase? What kind of character of the music in that particular section are you trying to achieve? And just the process of making them think that way and identifying those things, it begins to move the process in a different direction than only technical.
If you had to choose between being a conductor or a piano instructor, Rolf has no doubt about which is his favorite.
As a musician, in the most general sense of the word, I'm never happier than when I'm conducting.
Being a multi-talented conductor and music teacher, Rolf Birch is able to bring his two passions to the Calgary Civic Symphony and the Mount Royal Conservatory. Fans and students alike are sure to have a bright future in store for them. I'm Micah Quinton for MRU TV News.
Although snow and avalanches have been the most common topic of Mother Nature, wildfires have not been forgotten about. Northern parts of BC are amidst dry conditions, which is prompting an early warning from the BC Wildfire Service. It is urging residents in the Peace region and throughout the Prince George area to take caution when planning any outdoor burning in the next few weeks. Wildfire Services says it responded to 79 fires that covered more than 140 square kilometers of bush in April of last year, and similar conditions are expected for this year.
2 Americans were caught in an avalanche near Lake Louise in Banff National Park and are presumed dead. The couple did not check out of their hotel, and RCMP then found their rental vehicle at a trailhead on the Icefields Parkway. Safety specialists found tracks leading from the vehicle to the avalanche debris. A helicopter flew over the area and picked up signals from 2 avalanche transceivers. Parks Canada says the avalanche danger is so high that they can't send in a team to conduct a recovery operation. RCMP say the families of the missing people have been notified and their identities will not be released.
It's St. Patrick's Day today, and people all over Calgary are wearing green. One of the most important elements of Irish culture is music. MRU's Caleb Tweed stopped by a local Irish pub to see how Irish tradition is kept alive through music.
The sound of Irish music fills the halls of Fionn McCool's in downtown Calgary. St. Patrick's Day is a time of celebration for Irish people, wherever they are in the world, and brings together beer, friends, and Irish music. The Staggered Pints are an Eastern Canadian band and play traditional Celtic melodies. Calvin, Roger, and Sean brought the music part of Irish culture to Calgary today.
Being able to get out and play any kind of Irish music will hopefully keep people coming out and listening and dancing and keeping it in their spirits as well. It's something that's been in my heritage, so I got to play some of it.
The Staggered Pints have been playing together for 14 years. Sean himself has been playing Celtic music all of his life.
I think any heritage you have and you're proud of it, you may as well do what you can to keep it alive. Yeah. The green beer's not for me, but I think everybody should acquire a taste for Guinness.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for the final?
With so many people of Irish heritage in Calgary, it's important to honor their traditions. And judging by the festivities today, it's clear that they're alive and well. For MRU TV News, Caleb Tweed.
The weather's been picking up a lot lately, Britt. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I'm actually really happy that it's fairly nice out for St. Patrick's Day. So what's the rest of the weekend look like for all those special activities everybody's got planned for the big event?
Well, guys, Alberta doesn't look too bad right now. It's mostly mild over the province. As I told you, Calgary is 2 degrees itself. Red Deer as well, 2 degrees, and Edmonton. Most of those are the same sort of partly cloudy, sunny area. Fort Mac is -1. Lethbridge is 5 degrees, the higher one on this chart, and Banff is 0. And you guys talked about avalanches, so I'm just going to say there's an extreme avalanche warning in Kananaskis country, so just be aware if you're in the area. Let's take a look at the national weather. We'll start on the coast here, the west side. Vancouver is 7 and Victoria is 6. Those are cloudy and partly cloudy. Prince George is 5 degrees and sunny, so that's nice for Prince George. Edmonton and Calgary, like I said, 2 degrees. Saskatoon is 1 degree and sunny. Regina is 0 and sunny. Winnipeg -3 at partly cloudy, not brutal for Winnipeg. As we go to the east side here, Toronto is 5 degrees and sunny. Ottawa is -3 and Montreal is -4. Now in the Maritimes, Halifax is -3 with partial clouds. Charlottetown is -3 again with partial clouds, and St. John's is 3 degrees with partial clouds. Iqaluit is -16, but again, that's pretty good for them way up north. Yellowknife is -16, and with a little chance of flurries. Now, why don't we take a look at our satellites here? As you can see, we got a low pressure system pushing up from the coast that's merging with cold air, causing it to snow up top, and also pushing some very warm air down south, making it mild in the province. Let's take a look at the jet stream here. As you can see up top, we have a lot of snow, and down towards the Maritimes it comes down, so we're still getting a little negative temperatures up there while keeping Calgary, Alberta, and most of your prairies pretty warm. So now we're going to take a look at the 3-day forecast. And Saturday is a great day. It's sunny with a high of 15 degrees. That's just perfect. You're gonna have a great time if you're doing anything outdoors, but still try and get inside at night because it's gonna be -6. Sunday as well is gonna be sunny with a high of 4, a low of -6, and Monday is high of 3 and a low of -6. Back to you guys, that's the weather.
The USA women's hockey players are boycotting the World Championships. Players are in a wage fight regarding their expenses as athletes. The U.S. is the defending gold medalist, and the tournament begins March 31st in Plymouth, Michigan.
John Langle, an attorney who represents the players, tells the Advance Press, quote, "Players were aware of the deadline and are resolute in their focus on equitable support," end quote. The deadline has passed on whether or not the team will boycott the World Championship and haven't made any indication if they have changed their minds.
Now, I know there's a lot going on with March Madness. I don't know if you've got your bracket all figured out and whatnot.
Yeah, I think I submitted my bracket earlier today, and there's been a lot going on in hockey and playoffs with basketball.
Getting
and
close to the end of
Alex,
that
what do you got in
season.
sports, man?
Well, unfortunately, I have to start with some more bad news. The U Sports Women's National Hockey Championship is taking place this weekend in Ontario, but this year the championship game isn't going to be broadcasted on U Sports. Fifth-year Kelly Murray from UBC raises concern about the game not being publicized. She says, "I think we're all just very disappointed because hockey is Canada's sport and men's hockey is very well publicized. And that's not to take anything away from those leagues or teams. We recognize that women's hockey is a game that is growing and expanding. This is one of the highest levels there is for women's hockey. So of course we're going to be frustrated to cut us out and take away from the potential for us to show and hopefully inspire younger generations of female hockey players to stick with hockey." And the gold medal game is Sunday, March 19th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Toronto Raptors suffered a significant 123-102 defeat to the Oklahoma City Thunder last night. The OKC kept the lead throughout virtually the entire game, with point guard Russell Westbrook leading the charge with some impressive plays. Throughout the first, the Thunder had an answer to everything the Raptors came up with in the form of Westbrook and Victor Oladipo. The Thunder would continue their lead in the second. And you can see later on in the second, there is this incredible pass between Westbrook and Oladipo, right between the legs of one of the Raptors and right into the net. And by the third, you can see the Raptors' frustration starting to build, with the OKC constantly staying several steps ahead of Toronto. And heading into the fourth, the Raptors had a 27-point deficit against the Thunder. Despite a last-minute rally, the Raptors couldn't knock off the Thunder for a win, and Westbrook recorded his 34th triple-double in this game, and he is closing in on Oscar Robertson's season record of 41 triple-doubles. The Raptors, on the other hand, sit in fourth place in the conference, and as of today, they had a players-only meeting after this game. Now, on to college basketball. The brackets have been filled out and the teams are ready. The 2017 NCAA March Madness kicked off yesterday, and the first-round matchups are currently underway. Some of today's tournament games are taking place in South Carolina, where the NCAA has not had a tournament game since 2002. There are currently 22 Canadian players on 15 teams in this year's tournament, with 4 being on the New Mexico State roster. The first round of March Madness concludes today. The semifinals are on April 1st, and the championship is on April 3rd. The final 2 rounds are to be played at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Arizona. And the start of spring means golf season is just around the corner. Max Latimer went to one of the golf courses in Calgary to see how they are preparing for the upcoming season.
The birds are chirping and the snow is melting. Golf courses everywhere are preparing for the 2017 season. For the Purtis Greens Golf and Country Club, they are looking to build off an incredible 2016 season, which saw them play host to the LPGA Canadian Open. The course ranks among the top 100 in Canada, but even with all the success, improvements are being made to better the course.
We redid our Hawk greens in the fall of 2015, reopened in 16, and we look at redoing our Raven greens in the fall of 2017. So we're going to have 36 bent grass greens here at Purtis Greens without any pull in it, so it'll be exciting.
Associate professional and trainer Sam Kirkness spends the off-season training at Purtis Greens, teeing off and working on his game in an indoor facility that operates year-round. His expectations are high for the coming season.
I think a big part of having the Canadian Open is that we've received a ton of exposure that normally you wouldn't have. So our course was on TV for 4 days, and the buzz around Calgary is that our golf course is an absolute gem of a spot to go to. So next year we have some goals to go for, and I mean 36-hole operation with members that are close to about 1,300. So we have a lot of people to please, and we're just going to continue to do the same stuff that we do now.
Purtis Greens Golf and Country Club has a reputation of being a top club amongst its members. But after a successful Canadian Open, it's quickly becoming a top club amongst Canada. For MRU News TV, I'm Max Latimer.
And that's all for sports. Back to you guys, the desk.
Matthew Perry says he beat up Justin Trudeau in grade school. The former Friends star says he once beat up Trudeau in grade school over, quote, pure jealousy of his athletic abilities. The actor who played Chandler who played Chandler Bing on the show recounted his memory of the grade 5 scuffle on Jimmy Kimmel's late night talk show Wednesday night. Perry was raised in Ottawa and attended Rockcliffe Park Public School, where former Prime Minister Pierre Trudeau sent his sons. The actor's mother, Suzanne Perry, was once the elder Trudeau's press secretary. Perry insisted he wasn't bragging about the incident and called himself, quote, a stupid kid.
The man who cyberbullied Amanda Todd and many others will be sentenced. The 15-year-old girl from British Columbia committed suicide in 2012, following the relentless bullying. The Dutch courts handed down the maximum sentence to 38-year-old Aidan Corbin for cyberbullying multiple women and gay men. Although he is sentenced in Dutch court, he is also facing Canadian extortion and cyberbullying charges in relation to Amanda Todd. Carol Todd, Amanda's mother, said she's willing to wait and in the meantime is relieved that he received a maximum sentence in the Netherlands.
That's kind of funny, Britt, how Matthew Perry beat up on Justin Trudeau when they were kids, hey?
Yeah, and especially being a Friends fan, I love Matthew Perry. Like, Chandler Bing is my favorite character.
I think Joey's my favorite character, hands down. So, yeah, that's Friends for me.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it's kind of neat because, I mean, for us, I was born the year after Friends even became a series. So I think that's just really good work they did with that show.
And they have so many seasons and episodes.
So many fans. And
it's crazy.
You still hear about the characters now creating their new shows, but they always are known for what they did on Friends.
Right, I know. Like, their careers are everlasting, but they'll always be those characters in our minds, basically.
I know. It's like you see them and you think it's Rachel or Monica, not Courtney or Jennifer. But thank you for tuning in. That's all for MRU News. Good night.